What if I told you that Earth hides places that don't feel like Earth at all? Places where gravity seems to bend, colors defy logic, and nature sculpts things no science fiction writer could ever imagine. You don't need a spaceship. You just need to look closer. This isn't another planet, it's Ethiopia, a toxic wonderland where the ground bleeds yellow, green, and rust, where steam hisses through salt-encrusted chimneys and the air smells like another world. It's one of the most uninhabitable places on Earth, and yet undeniably alive. Below the surface of glaciers in Iceland, light transforms solid ice into glowing crystal. It's silent, eerie, as if you're walking through the lungs of a frozen alien creature. Every drip echoes like time ticking in a different dimension. Here, the rules of our world seem to melt away. On a forgotten island in the Arabian Sea, trees grow like they've never seen Earth before. Twisted, ancient, and utterly unexplainable, Socotra doesn't just look alien, it feels alien. Scientists come here to study evolution. Travelers come to question reality. These aren't CGI renders. They're not movie sets. They're real, scattered across our planet like secrets waiting to be uncovered. From glowing caves in New Zealand to mountains that bleed color in China, Earth hides places that seem impossible, but they exist, and they are breathtaking. It's one of the hottest, most hostile environments on Earth, and one of the most beautiful. Dallol, Ethiopia, lies deep in the Danakil Depression, 125 meters below sea level. But when you see it, it doesn't look like Earth at all. It looks like Venus cracked open and started bubbling. The ground is stained with neon yellows, reds, and greens, colors you'd expect in a lava lamp, not a desert. Acidic hot springs boil like cauldrons. Steam rises from underground like breath from the planet itself. The air here is thick, heavy with salt and sulfur, toxic to most life, but intoxicating to the eye. Nothing thrives here. Not animals, not plants, not even bacteria in some places. It's a geological freak show where salt crusts crunch beneath your boots and the Earth seems to hum with some ancient alien frequency. This isn't a land built for survival. It's a canvas for chaos. And yet, people come, not to live, but to witness. The Afar nomads who pass nearby call it the gateway to hell. Scientists call it one of the most extreme environments ever studied. Photographers, they call it heaven. Out here, every step feels like trespassing on another planet. This is Dallol. If it feels like another planet, maybe that's because it is. Just one of many, hiding in plain sight, waiting to remind us how little we truly know our own world. Dallol reminds us that Earth is not tame. Beneath our oceans, inside our caves, and here, in the burning heart of Ethiopia, there are places where nature still writes its own rules. Places so surreal, they don't need imagination, just a lens and a little courage. At the edge of the Arabian Sea, far from the chaos of continents, lies an island that feels like it drifted in from another galaxy. Socotra isn't just strange, it's otherworldly, a natural anomaly where evolution took its own path, sculpting a world that looks more Martian than Middle Eastern. This is the dragon blood tree, twisted like ancient coral and oozing crimson sap. It's the icon of Socotra. and something you won't see anywhere else on Earth. Its canopy spreads wide like an alien spacecraft, designed not for beauty, but for survival in brutal dry winds. Socotra's plants look like they were imagined, not grown. Bottle trees with swollen trunks, cucumber trees that look like swollen cacti, frankincense shrubs twisted by centuries of wind. Scientists estimate that over a third of the species here are found nowhere else, not even nearby. Only here, only Socotra. The people of Socotra, the Socotri, have lived in quiet isolation for centuries. Their language is spoken nowhere else. Their connection to the land is deep, spiritual. To them, these alien trees and jagged cliffs aren't strange. They're home, part of a rhythm the rest of the world forgot. Socotra feels like Earth's experiment, a test run of life on another planet, but it's real, wild, and astonishingly beautiful. Proof that even on our own world, the alien is already here. Imagine stepping into a river that no longer carries water, but light. Antelope Canyon, carved deep into the red heart of Arizona, feels less like a place and more like a dream sculpted from sand and time. It's one of the most photographed places on Earth, and yet it barely seems real. This place was never built, it was worn into being, shaped by thousands of flash floods over millions of years. The rock here doesn't just stand still, it moves, it swirls. Each turn feels like a brushstroke from something much older and much more patient than us. When the sun is high and the light is just right, it pours through the cracks above like liquid silver. The canyon comes alive in shades of fire and gold. Photographers wait for this moment all year, and when it comes, time seems to stop. Just long enough to remember how magic works. There's a hush inside Antelope Canyon. Not silence, but reverence. The kind of quiet you feel in a cathedral. Except here, the pillars are made of stone, the ceiling of sky, and the prayer are whispered through camera shutters and awestruck gasps. From above, it's almost invisible, just a narrow crack in the earth. But inside, it's like walking through a portal, one carved not by machines or man, but by something slower, wilder, and maybe a little more divine. Antelope Canyon is a reminder that even on a familiar planet, beauty can take forms we've never imagined. And sometimes, the most alien landscapes are carved right here by wind, water, and time. High in the mist-shrouded mountains of China's Hunan province, the earth unravels into a dream. Thousands of stone towers rise like fingers from the forest, jagged, ancient, and cloaked in fog. This is Wulingyuan, and for a moment, it's hard to believe you're not floating too. These pillars weren't carved by hands, they were sculpted by time. Over millions of years, wind and water tore into limestone, leaving behind this impossible forest of stone. Some rise over 3,000 feet. They don't just scrape the sky, they pierce it. In the early morning, when clouds drift through the canyons like slow-moving ghosts, the mountains don't seem connected to the earth at all. They hover, they drift, they vanish. It's no wonder James Cameron used Wulingyuan as the inspiration for the floating world of Avatar. Truth is, it might be even more surreal than the fiction. And it's not empty. Hidden within the valleys are ancient temples, winding paths, and cliffside villages where people have lived for centuries, quietly, reverently, as if aware they're guests in a place not quite human. Legends here speak of immortals who lived atop these stone towers, only descending to guide the lost or the worthy. Looking out over this sea of stone, you start to understand the myth, because everything here feels suspended, in time and gravity, in reality. This is Wulingyuan. It doesn't just look like another planet, it looks like the place where myths go to rest and the real world forgets to interrupt. Deep in the Western Sahara, long after the pyramids vanish in your rearview mirror, Egypt reveals a different kind of mystery, not built by ancient hands, but carved by the wind. This is the White Desert, and it looks like the moon took a vacation and never left. Here, stone doesn't just sit still, it whispers. Time, wind, and sand have sculpted the land into surreal monuments. Towers, arches, and ghostly figures rising from a sea of white. Some look like giant mushrooms, others like icebergs stranded in a desert that's never seen snow. In the right light, the whole place glows. Pink at sunrise, gold by afternoon, and silver under the stars. It's like standing inside a dream, a fossilized moment where Earth forgot what it was supposed to be and decided to be something much stranger. For the local Bedouins, this is home, a place of silence, stories, and survival. They call it Sahara El Beida, and to them, every rock has a name, a memory, a legend. Travelers pass through quickly, but for those who listen, the desert speaks slowly and with wonder. This isn't a forgotten corner of the earth. It's a reminder that this planet, even in the places we think we know, still hides beauty that feels extraterrestrial. The White Desert doesn't shout, it waits. And when it reveals itself, you'll never see sand the same way again. There are places so quiet, you can hear the earth breathe. Deep under the icy skin of Iceland's largest glacier, tunnels wind through frozen silence, glowing like the inside of a sapphire. This is Vatnajökull, and its caves are not made by hands or time, but by meltwater and miracles. Step inside and sound disappears. Your footsteps soften, your breath echoes. Light bends through walls formed over centuries. 1,000 winters compressed into rippling waves of blue. It feels like walking through a dream, or inside the lungs of something ancient and sleeping. Each winter, the caves are born anew, sculpted by the melt and freeze of the glacier's breath. No two are ever the same. One year, the cave may spiral downward like a frozen vortex. The next, it may stretch out in perfect symmetry like the rib cage of a giant crystallized whale. Vatnajökull is the largest glacier in Europe and one of Iceland's oldest living forces. Its breath cools rivers, feeds waterfalls, and sculpts caverns beneath your feet. It has outlived civilizations. And yet, here we are, standing inside its heart, watching light dance through frozen time. This isn't just ice, it's memory frozen, motion paused, a world within a world where every step feels like trespassing into the imagination of nature itself. From above, it looks like ripples frozen in time, an endless desert stitched with soft white folds, like bed sheets for giants. But as you draw closer, something impossible emerges. Water, crystal clear, glimmering lagoons, in the middle of a desert that forgot how to be dry. This is Lençóis Maranhenses, Brazil, a place where desert dunes stretch across 600 square miles. Yet every rainy season, the hollows between them fill with fresh, warm rainwater. For a few brief months, an alien hybrid is born, part Sahara, part tropical oasis. Walking here is like stepping between realities. One moment your feet sink into hot, powdery sand. The next, you're wading waist deep in a pool so clear it reflects the sky like polished glass. Fish appear, carried in as eggs by migrating birds, waiting for these liquid windows to form. There's no other place like it on Earth. No rivers feed these pools. No permanent lakes exist. The entire miracle vanishes by the end of the dry season, as quickly as it came. It's like watching a mirage made real, then undone. A desert that dreams in water. Locals say the land breeze here, that it inhales rain and exhales silence. Every year, the desert renews its memory, carving new channels, forming new pools, reshaping itself like a living sculpture. It doesn't just resist categorization, it rewrites it. At first glance, you'd swear it's snow, a frozen waterfall cascading down the hillside, untouched by time or temperature. But this isn't ice, it's stone, soft, chalk-white travertine, sculpted not by cold, but by heat. Welcome to Pamukkale, the cotton castle of Turkey. For thousands of years, thermal springs have bubbled up from the earth, rich with calcium and minerals. As the water cools, it leaves behind a trail of snow-white deposits, building natural terraces, pools, and ledges that seem far too perfect to be real. It looks like something from another dimension, or another planet entirely. It's a place that feels like it shouldn't exist. Too delicate to stand on, too surreal to touch. And yet, humans have bathed here since the Roman Empire. Cleopatra herself is said to have soaked in these pools. The same waters that shape the land are said to heal the body and silence the mind. Just above this alien dreamscape lies Hierapolis, an ancient city of temples, tombs, and stone arches. It's as if two worlds collided, one of myth and empire, the other of impossible beauty. Together, they form a place that lives somewhere between fantasy and memory. At dusk, the air thickens with mist. The waters glow orange. The terraces mirror the sky. And for a moment, you feel weightless, like you're walking on clouds or drifting through a dream. Pamukkale isn't just a place. It's an illusion that became real. This is Pamukkale, a landscape born of time, water, and wonder. Proof that Earth, when left to its own devices, can sculpt a world stranger and more graceful than anything we could imagine. It's not a lake, it's not a desert, it's not even easy to describe. This is Salar de Uyuni, the largest salt flat on Earth. And in the right conditions, it becomes something far stranger. A flawless mirror, a perfect illusion. A place where the sky and the ground become one. When the rain comes, a thin layer of water covers the crusted salt, and suddenly, reality folds. You walk, but your shadow floats. You look up, but you're also looking down. The mountains in the distance double in the horizonless expanse. This isn't a landscape, it's a portal. A dream, somehow real. For centuries, the Aymara people have lived near this salt flat, calling it a place of spirits, not because of ghosts, but because it feels alive. It shifts, it changes, and under your feet is not soil, but a crust of ancient salt thick enough to drive across. But beneath that, water, depth, a sleeping ocean of lithium and light. At over 10,000 square kilometers, Salar de Uyuni stretches so far that satellite calibrations use it to test accuracy. It's one of the flattest surfaces on the planet, but paradoxically, one of the most disorienting. A single step can feel like floating. A single moment can stretch like eternity. And when the sun sets, the universe seems to curve around you. People come here for fun, for photos, for silence, but what they leave with is the memory of stillness. Salar de Uyuni teaches you how loud the world is by showing you a place where even your thoughts seem to echo. Tucked away in the vast emptiness of Nevada's Black Rock Desert is a monument not carved by nature alone, but also by accident. It rises from the dust like a forgotten alien artifact, a geyser that glows in technicolor, steaming like a breathing creature in the silence of the desert. Fly Geyser wasn't supposed to exist. In 1964, a well drilled for geothermal energy struck a pressurized pocket of water. The hole was capped, but the Earth had other plans. Hot water kept rising, minerals began to build, and over decades, the desert bloomed into something unreal. What you see today is a living sculpture, created by geologic time and geochemical reactions. The colors? They're real. The reds and oranges come from iron, the greens from thermophilic algae that thrive in the scalding water. Every inch of the geyser is alive with heat, color, and silent, slow creation. It looks completely out of place, like it was teleported here from a dream. And maybe that's the magic of it. In the middle of nowhere, surrounded by miles of dry, cracked earth, is this one spot where life and geology collided to make something extraordinary. Fly Geyser is private, protected, and largely unknown. Hidden behind gates, quietly steaming away in its own strange rhythm. Few will ever see it in person, but those who do say it doesn't just look alien, it feels alien, like you're standing beside a doorway into a different Earth. High above the Amazon rainforest where three countries meet in silence, a mountain rises that looks like it doesn't belong. Mount Roraima, a place so ancient and so alien, it inspired the very idea of a lost world. Standing over 9,000 feet tall, it isn't just a mountain. It's a tabletop torn from time. Its cliffs drop like stone walls into mist-choked valleys, carved not by human hands but by eons of wind and rain. Waterfalls plunge from its summit like Earth is weeping into the void. The top is so flat, so otherworldly, that from afar, it looks artificial, like something built or placed. To reach the top is to step through a portal. Up here, nothing feels familiar. Blackened rocks twist into strange spires. Pools of crystal clear water sit undisturbed for centuries. Carnivorous plants bloom in silence. It's a landscape that feels untouched and untouchable. Mount Roraima creates its own weather, cloaked in clouds one moment, glowing with golden light the next. Scientists say it's one of the oldest geological formations on Earth, nearly 2 billion years old. But the myths say more. They say this is the stump of a mighty tree that once held all the fruits of the world, felled by gods, sealed in stone. Whatever you believe, one thing is certain. Roraima doesn't look like it belongs to this world. It's a sentinel from a time before time, watching over the jungle like a forgotten monument. And for those who climb it, it changes you, not just for the view, but for the feeling that maybe, just maybe, you've stepped somewhere you were never meant to be. In the quiet hills of British Columbia, tucked between vineyards and dry grasslands, there's a lake that looks like it's been pixelated by nature itself. It's called Spotted Lake, but that name barely hints at what you'll find here. When summer comes, the water fades, and the land reveals its secret. Giant, glowing dots in shades of green, yellow and white. A landscape that looks more like alien code than a Canadian lake. Each circle is its own tiny universe, made not of paint, but of minerals, magnesium, calcium, sodium sulfates, and dozens more. As the water evaporates under the summer heat, these minerals concentrate into puddles of raw color. No two are quite the same. Some shimmer like opal, others look like portals to somewhere else. From above, it looks like a painter spilled a palette onto the land. But up close, it feels more like Earth is whispering something. A hidden pattern, a cryptic language written in salt and stone. This isn't a place that shouts for attention. It invites quiet awe. Spotted Lake changes with the seasons. In winter, it hides beneath ice. In spring, it floods. But in late summer, when its colors awaken, it becomes one of the most surreal places in North America. Not many people come here. Maybe that's a good thing. Some places aren't meant to be crowded. They're meant to be felt. In northwestern China, beyond the reach of neon cities and bullet trains, the land begins to dream in color. Zhangye Dangxia is a masterpiece not made by human hands, but by time, wind, and minerals. A mountain range that looks like it's been brush painted by a giant in bold, defiant strokes. The reds are rust, the yellows are iron, the purples and greens, traces of ancient seabeds turned to stone. Each layer tells a story of oceans that vanished, of continents that collided, of sand and silt laid down over 24 million years. And together, they sing in Technicolor. When the light is just right, just before sunset or after a rain, the colors sharpen, as if the earth has turned up its own saturation. It's not just a mountain range, it's a hallucination made real, a place where the ground itself refuses to be boring. Scientists call it a Dangxia landform, a rare type of erosion that happens when water carves sandstone into layered cliffs and canyons. But standing here, those words feel too small, because no textbook explains how something this alien could be hidden in plain sight, right here on Earth. There are places on Earth that don't feel like they were never meant to be seen. Torres del Paine, deep in Chilean Patagonia, isn't just a mountain range. It's a monument, a collision of stone, ice, wind, and silence, sculpted into something that feels more like a forgotten corner of a myth than a national park. Here, nature didn't color inside the lines. The mountains shoot up in sharp, impossible angles, like claws frozen in time. Their names are whispered like legends, the towers, the horns, the blue massif, and around them the wind never stops. It howls like an ancient forest trying to reclaim what it once created. The sky here feels lower, closer, like it's pressing down on the world below and cutting through it. The Andean condors, wings stretching 10 feet wide. They ride invisible currents, barely flapping, like they've mastered the alien language of the wind. You might catch glimpses of life, guanacos with their long, cautious strides, or foxes darting like whispers through the brush. But for the most part, Torres del Paine belongs to the elements, to wind and stone, to silence. If Earth has a cathedral, this might be it. But there are no walls, no ceilings, just sky, stone, and wind. And if you find yourself here, you won't need directions. You'll know. You've crossed into a place that doesn't belong to this world. Imagine flying over a quiet island off the southern coast of Australia, and suddenly the ocean gives way to something completely unexpected. A lake, but not blue, not green, not even clear. This one is pink. Bright, solid, bubblegum pink. Like someone spilled a bottle of paint on the earth and forgot to clean it up.